What's up guys, Miss Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today is going to be just a little bit longer video than my last few on territory battles, because I want to give you guys my first impressions after action report for territory battles. Now, we've all just finished the first 6 days, all 6 waves in all their glory of territory battles, and minor bugs aside, I think we can all say that this is a great new addition to the game. It gives all guilds, no matter how overpowered or underpowered you are, an equal footing, I think, in setting goals for the future of your guild. I think it sets a good milestone marker for a lot of guilds and a lot of players to determine where they need to go with their roster. Now, unfortunately, this focuses very heavily on the light side, so all of you dark side folks out there, myself included, you're going to be a little bit disappointed in leaving your dark side characters to the wayside for a little while we trudge our way through the Hoth landscape and focusing on our light side characters for a while. Hopefully we do see a dark side territory battles. I do believe will happen sooner rather than later, hopefully. Any rate, so I do think that it does give guilds a very good chance to work together towards a common goal where all players are rewarded equally. I think that is a very good aspect of territory battles. In the background here, I have some gameplay, pretty much a good preview of how well Gear 8 Phoenix Squad did in my arena. Unfortunately, Stage 5, when we do get there, is going to be just kind of a holy moly what just happened for you. You'll see it when it happens. But then the next battle is I completely underestimated the difficulty of the Commander Luke Skywalker special mission, and I crashed and burned. It was ugly. And then I made a totally noob mistake on my other combat mission and didn't put a tank in my squad, which basically caused it to implode on the sixth stage of the combat mission. So I do have some good lessons learned here that I will be sharing with you guys, but do enjoy the gameplay in the background while it is a good demonstration of what not to do in your territory battles. So, first off, let's talk about some of the lessons learned here. One of the first lessons that we all learned, which I think Mobile Gamer, Arnold2101, McMull2, Nukin, Crazy, all the other game changers, Warrior, they all covered this, was do not deploy your troops first. Don't follow the tutorial. Don't follow the tutorial. Don't deploy your troops first. That was the one lesson learned that we all got from the top. Very first thing, don't deploy your troops first. The very first thing that we learned was that you deploy your troops to your platoons, and then you attack the special missions, if you can, and then you attack the most restrictive. That's right, you look for the combat missions that have the most restrictive character requirements. So in other words, you look for that combat mission that requires the Hoth Rebel Scout or the Hoth Rebel Soldier, and you do that one first. And then you go down in order of restrictions. So in the first 4 phases, where you don't have the one faction as far as, one sub-faction like Phoenix or Rogue One characters, you have rebels only. You want to make sure that you're doing that one before you go down to the light side only, because if you use your strongest rebels in the light side only and then you go back up to the combat mission where you need to have rebels only, you might find yourself sold short. The other thing we learned was that we do need to worry about some of those other characters that we haven't focused on so much. In my case, it was maybe putting a few better mods on my old Ben, because I actually did use old Ben as the tank in one of my rebel-only squads. So that brings me to the next topic, building squads. You want to have at least 3 very powerful, and relatively speaking, you want to have at least 3 powerful squad compositions that you can use in your galactic war. One of the top squads that I think a lot of people found the most useful was resistance. Now, unfortunately, I am not in a position to be throwing my resistance out as a standalone squad in combat missions. Unfortunately, my Finn is still only 5 stars. I only took him to 5 stars so that I could get the speed mods challenge done, but I do think that he is going to be my next target from Cantina battles, since the resistance is so awesome when it comes to territory battles. However, they are going to be on the back burner for my gearing plans because Phoenix, I think, is going to take the front row seat there. Phoenix actually has a chance to shine here. You can see how well Phoenix is doing. Now, mind you, this is phase 5 where squads are really struggling, and they made it to stage 5 of this at gear 8. Phoenix actually does do very well in combat missions because they have so much health and protection regeneration, which brings me to Rogue One. Rogue One also being a required sub-faction of the light side rebels needed in phase 6. Jyn Erso's Zeta is incredible. The protection gain anytime an ally gains a positive status effect, a buff, is huge, especially when you're running Chirrut and Baze with her. Baze obviously is not the shining star here. Chirrut is. Chirrut is going to be throwing hots up left and right. If you've ever gone up against a squad with Chirrut and Baze, you know how buff happy he is. So that means every single time somebody gains a positive status effect, they are going to be getting 5% protection back, which is great. Another great choice for Zeta leader ability is Qui-Gon Jinn. If you have really strong Jedi, or even moderately strong Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn's Zeta lead will provide your Jedi with ample survivability to at least clear 5 stages at a minimum every time you go into a combat mission. Now that we've talked about really good leaders and really good sub-factions inside of combat missions, let's talk about important classes required for your combat mission squads. A good squad is going to have a very good tank, obviously not Chewbacca, because he failed me here, absolutely horribly failed me. You're going to have good defense. You're going to have at least some degree of health and or protection regeneration inside of your squad, and then you're probably going to have some turn meter manipulation. You want to be able to stun the enemies. Ayla Secura works extremely well under a Qui-Gon Jinn lead. Her basic attack, well, really any of her attacks, being able to crit and stun the enemy is invaluable. You're going to find yourself wanting to stun your enemies on a regular basis inside of your combat missions, because when you are initiating the crowd control tactics of daze, stagger, and stun, that is where your squad will shine and will increase its survivability immensely. Aside from combat missions, we had our special missions. Now, me personally, I have been busting tail to try and get my Captain Han Solo to 5 stars before the next territory battle, which I am proud to say I am only 10 shards away at the time of recording this video, so I will be making that milestone, and I will be contributing towards the Rolo shards for the next territory battles. Very excited about that. We got 47 this last time because holy moly, my guild is stacked. But I am very excited to be contributing to at least the 48th shard, which I'm pretty sure the other 2 guys in my guild who didn't have a 5-star Captain Han Solo ready are going to have their 5-star, so I should be seeing 50 Rolo shards this next territory battle and every territory battle thereafter. I'm pretty excited about that. And then on top of that, the special missions are only going to be 3 stages, which is really awesome. So if you haven't had a chance to get inside any of those special missions, then be advised that they are only 3 stages. Those 3 stages are a doozy, as you saw earlier, but they are doable 100% as long as you've got the minimum requirements. Speaking of minimum requirements, I think Phase 5 and Phase 6 are where everybody can agree that things got real. Phase 5 and Phase 6 were really where a lot of us veteran players really got to test the mettle of our squads, of our entire rosters. And even for the whales in my group, this was a very humbling experience. Not everybody just went in and mopped the floor with all 6 stages of these battles, which was very cool to see that, you know, they created something that was a challenge to even the most powerful rosters in the game. Which, in that regard, I think I can speak for a lot of the whales out there in the community when I say that this was a very welcomed experience. People have been looking for a challenge in this game for a very long time, and I think Territory Battles presents that challenge. And honestly, I'm very excited because it gives me a goal to strive for. Personally, that's my Phoenix squad. I really want to get my Phoenix up to at least Gear 10 altogether because I really feel like a Gear 10 Phoenix could probably clear all 6 stages and then also be very useful for the earlier stages combat missions or the other earlier phase combat missions, as well as potentially being useful in Phase 6. But talking about the overall difficulty of Territory Battles, I think it is perfect. There may be a lot of other critiques from around the community. I know that a lot of the newer players, lesser geared, I guess, more underpowered. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what the right term to use here would be, but I think for a lot of the smaller guilds or less powerful guilds that this may be perceived as too hard. Well, to them, I have to say, this has to be geared towards the entire community, from the earliest, most junior player in the game, the person who just started last week, to the people who started like me day one and have spent lots of money on this game and have a completely stacked roster. They wanted to provide a challenge, basically something that rewarded the community no matter how big or small your guild was, no matter how big or small your roster was, you got some kind of reward, which I think is something to be applauded. I think that Territory Battles, all in all, have been a great and amazing success. Personally, I think that this is one of the best additions to the game ever, even more so than ships, which ships, I guess, have gotten very stale for a lot of players. But Territory Battles, I think, is a very nice, refreshing change for a lot of players, and I really hope that it that it evolves in the right direction, and that we do see all kinds of new territories and new frontiers pioneered in the realm of Territory Battles. Obviously, the first of which should be a dark side Territory Battles, but I think that goes without saying, and I'm pretty confident that the next Territory Battles will be a dark side Territory Battle. I would really like to see something maybe in the Republic era, you know, the Separatists and the Republic. Maybe combine that with a Separatist rework. Asajj Ventress and General Grievous. Arnold, hey, you know, getting your plug in there. And anyway, I think that would be a really good next phase, if not just flipping this around, staying on Hoth and fighting it from the Empire side. I think that might be an easy second version of Territory Battles in itself, but who knows? We'll see what happens. And all in all, I think Territory Battles have been a great success. I hope your guild found it as enlightening and enriching as I did, and I really hope that your guild actually did very well. Let me know in the comment section below how far your guild got in Territory Battles, how many stars you guys unlocked, and whether you agree with me, whether you think that Territory Battles are awesome, or whether they just plain suck. Either way, guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out, and subscribe also helps me out, and you'll get notified whenever all of my new videos come out. Feel free to check me out on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, I'm real active there, and always join the Discord server to continue the conversation and join the conversation with other players just like you. And I'll catch you later.